is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
Have you ever captured a hornet in a jar, shaken it, and watched the results? Today will be something a little bit like that, except replace the hornet with two monstrously powerful sports cars and replace the jar with a tiny, narrow, and bumpy road course. Tempers will flare, feelings will be hurt, and most likely plenty of drivers will still be laughing and smiling after it all. That's just the sort of group this series cultivates. But only one driver can win in each of the classes, and we'll find out who that will be as we get ready to watch round 3 of the iRacing Kamel GT series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Crackers Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Hans-joachim, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, the rest of the racing community might think these guys are crazy, but I think we know by now that they're just a special breed. Why choose Lime Rock Park for the Kamel series?
Joe, I will say and counter with, why not? Why not come to this beautiful, scenic northwest corner of Connecticut in the Berkshire Mountains? This road course, a lot of history here since 1956, and it's been continuously operating since then. And Joe, of course, because it's free content on the iRacing service, this is where you earn your chops, is at a track like this. But listen, it's a short track. It's only a 1.5 miles around. You've got cars that are differing in speed between a Nissan and the Audi. The Nissan's looking around quick. It's a clockwise racetrack with 7 turns. 6 of those are right-handers. So basically what's going to happen today is this is going to be, on this tight track, it's going to be a case of where the hunter basically waits for his prey to make a mistake. But the best way to get an idea what it's like to get around Lime Rock Park is to hop on board for another GSRC lap around.
All right, we've got Clayton McLeod in the GSRC Nissan, so let's do a lap around Lime Rock Park. Coming down to Big Bend, this is really your only realistic chance to outbrake someone for an overtake, but it's going to be sketchy trying to hold it too wide through here if neither of you gives in. Try to take it as 2 apexes, then, coming off, get the car to the right. The aptly named left-hander is probably best for the late apex, and make sure to hug the left side to give yourself a better shot through the S's. Watch out for wheel spin since the turbo leg can get you. Weave through no name straight, then chuck it into the uphill. Keep the wheel straight over the crest and stay off to the left as you approach West Bend. There's very little runoff on the outside, so if you dip wheels into the grass on exit, it could easily be good night. Finally, there's diving turn. Get the car into the groove down by the curb and be careful about how much you flirt with the dirt. Hopefully, you kept it together and have now finished a lap around Lime Rock Park.
There you get a good idea of the kind of quick laps you're going to see around here. In the Nissan, at least, they're still pretty fast, and the Audi as well. Drivers are just getting out on for qualifying, so real quickly, let's go through the through the championship points, starting with the GTP Championship. This is the prototypes. Fabian Gerber leads the way, just overtaking Ardo Yamaki after last round. Scant 8 points between them. Houghton is going to slip down 1 position. And then Mark Pickford joins the top of the points there, but he is tied, you can see, in 4th with Luis Emerton, about 20 points back from our leader, very tight up there. They also have the GTP Lights that they run. This is effectively an amateur championship in the prototypes that everybody's got something to fight for. Up at the top of those as we come live now on our qualifying so we can see who's out there on track. Johnny Bell leads the way but only 1 point over Martin Craytree. And then you can see it's that close as well, all the way down for these 4 drivers competing for this championship. Craytree, Bulldogger, and Dave Peterson. That should get a little bit separated as time goes by and the points are at least a little bit more spread out. So let's go to the Audi Championship, starting with the GTO. Sean, what are we looking at over there?
Ah, yes, I get the GTO standings, the Audis, the mighty Audis. Philly Raiola right now has a 3-point lead over Jamie Hall. Billy has his recent success is rocketed him up to first in the points, and Jamie Hall looking up the ladder right now, but he has climbed the ladder one spot right above Rob Olenek, who needs a better race today to get himself back in this championship hunt. Let's face it, folks, it's round 3. There's plenty of time to get this done. Nick Bucanos is having some early success. He's now into 4th, and Phil in and around the lake, struggling just a bit, has dropped all the way to 5th, but still very, very much in this hunt in the early part of the season. Why don't we look at the GTU standings and take a look and see how those fellas are doing. The Hungarian driver Merlan Arnozzi finds himself now in first place, 2 spots up the ladder over Iskren Hondev, who is holding on to second place right now, just 6 points back. Reed Miller, the Canadian, moves up a spot there to 3rd, 12 points back from Milan. And then you've got Hideki Koivico, who's starting to climb up into this championship picture. Finds himself now there in 4th. And Matthew Jette, much like the GTO standings, someone has to fall. And it's been Matthew Jette over here in the GTU standings. He sits back there in 5th, Joe.
You can see cars whipping around this track pretty fast. Most have actually ended their qualifying, but before we go to that, we have the race details for what you have in store out here today. We are in round 3, as we mentioned. It is a sprint race, just to add to the madness around this track. There's so many factors that are adding to what we expect to be a bit of a crazy race. There are no pit stops expected because of it being a sprint race. Now, the setups are open on these cars, so they can change them to their liking. I think that's not going to make as much of a difference out on the track as just knowing how to deal with traffic. There you saw the scoring as well. As qualifying still taking place, just a few minutes left on the clock. Gerber currently leading the way in the GTO class, being led by our old friend Riley Thompson. Good to see him finding some speed. He'll need that, and he'll need to be up front out there today if he wants to take another win. But Sean, I think the big talking point is that they've upped the split number, and well, that has sort of bit them today, I'd say.
Maybe so. Joe, 53, is that the number I'm seeing?
I think you're right. Yeah, 53 cars out on a 1.5 mile track with 2 different classes. Oh. That's
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think we even need to say anything. Just list out those stats, and the audience should get an idea of what
we're just going to leave that there for you folks and let you stew on that as we get ready to start this race. But this is going to be fun, Joe. This is going to be fun. And listen to everybody watching right now. Pay attention, okay? May not be a time to step away and get a beverage, so do that now while you've got just a second. You don't want to miss any of this one.
Yeah, we probably will have quite a few replays, but we won't try and flood it with too many of them because there's going to be a lot happening. We've got to stick with the leaders, really, if anything. Lepisto currently on the front row with Gerber, we should mention, along with Ardo Iamaki and another old favorite here in the Kamel GT series. Timu Toika looks like he's going to be starting on that second row. Some familiar names and some old favorites coming back, it looks like, to compete at the top of the GTO class, because Olenek is back. That's expected. He's around a lot. Philip Lake. But look at this. Kirdan Guafia. He returns. We haven't seen him in a lot of seasons.
It has been a while since we've seen Kirdan, and it's good to see him back. And honestly, right now, good speed in that Audi. Sits 3rd. That's not too shabby, Joe.
Look at this. Empty Box has shown up to try and compete. You see him running laps out in the GTP class at the moment. Just about 1:50 left. We only have a few drivers still running right now. Stefan Schlacker, who just came off of covering the Batteries Not Included series on the Global SimRacing channel, jumped into his Audi to see what he can do out there today. His qualifying time, just his first one being put on the board, and that's going to jump him up to looks like 14th in class.
Yeah, that's not where he wants to be.
Nope. We were talking to him a little bit before the broadcast. He was sounding a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'd be nervous too. Okay. No, I'm in the booth for a reason. I wouldn't be in this race. So.
Yeah, same here. Roy Pruitt out there, he's got one qualifying time in. It still puts him at very last in the GTP class. He's coming around to finish. He should have enough time as long as he didn't have an off track. He's clean coming out of the downhill turn. And this one does not count, unfortunately. So he did have an off track, and he is actually slightly off pace, but thankfully still faster than the GTOs.
Trevor Snyder's coming around right now, actually, and trying to improve his time. He's sitting
that one
back.
Doesn't count either.
No, it didn't count, unfortunately. I thought maybe he had a burner going there, but it wasn't. So he'll remain there in 17th in the GTO class.
No, the good news is things are pretty evenly split between the classes. So we've got 26 of our GTP cars, which will give us 27, I believe, if my math is right. That's always dangerous on GSRC, in the GTO class.
That actually would be correct, Joe.
I did it once for right.
Well, I actually don't have to do any math. I have a utility that tells me exactly.
All right. Well, let's go through our starting grid. To tell you what the order is going to be. Fabian Gerber starts it on the pole with Antti Lapisto starting in second. Artu Iamaki will be P3 with the second row completed by Timu Toika. Dave Walsh joins us once again starting in fifth. Michael Houghton will be P6. Justin Albrecht returns once again to join the chaos. He'll be starting 7th with Alexia Loma coming in to start 8th. Mark Pickford back again. The Catman starts 9th. Martin Krejcik, he is P10 with Radar Anderson starting in 11th. Then it's Fabian Jungbluth in 12th with Pablo Suarez in 13th. We understand there's a bit of a rivalry brewing between himself and John Keefe. Mike Kopak will be P14 with James King starting 15th. Then it's David Raber in 16th, and the aforementioned John Keefe starting 17th position. Clayton McLeod, well down the order for him. He'll start 18th. Matthias Goldogger starts 19th, and Empty Box will be P20. Matt Orr rounding out that top 20. Luis Emerton will be in 21st with Justin Critelli in 22nd. Johnny Bell starts in 23rd with Sean McCarthy in 24th, and Roy Pruitt in 25th. The only one that didn't get a time in the GTP class is Paul Nelson. Let's go to the GTOs.
Joe, Riley, Thompson going to start on the pole today. Rob Olenek in a really wild paint scheme, man. And Karadan Bawafia starts 3rd. Phil in and around the lake 4th. Nick Bucanos starts 5th. And then we'll go back to 6th there. It's going to be Yoni Hagner in the number 3. Starting there in 6th, 7th, going to be Yoni Kajanen right behind him. So it's Battle of the Yonis. And then it's Yari Latari there in 8th, 9th. Jamie Hall, Ove Trengere, 10th today, 11th for Milan Arnozzi. Reed Miller in 12th, Stefan Schlacker in 3rd. 14th goes to Hristo, is that Ubla? There we go. Ben Laughter in 15th, 16, Thomas Delmuth. Trevor Snyder there starts just behind him. Mika Kivipuro there in 43rd overall. Hideki Koivico right there with him on that same row. Row 23, Richard Kehoe. Niskrin Pandev. Row 24, Taylor Burris starting back there. He's going to have to be careful on that start. And then we've got Kolobuzov in 48th. 49th for Brian Shanahan. Bronislav Robanek all the way down there in 50th. And then we have the last, and that's all we've got. We've got those 50, Joe. So 50 going to start this race today.
All right. And take a breather, Sean. You're going to need it because we're going to be talking a lot. I love some of the chat we're already getting before this race has started. I can't share all of these, unfortunately, but there's some hilarious messages we're getting in the chat between the drivers. Of course, we've got Yari Lotari saying, I'm wondering if my shifter can make it for 40 whole minutes. We've got Kiradine saying, I'm stressed and the race didn't even start yet. Unfortunately, we can't share Mika Kiviporo's message.
No, we can't.
He's had a code brown and the race hasn't even started yet. Let's put it that way.
He's radiated into the team to have maybe a fresh pair of pants ready into the race.
So we're going to have an entertaining time as the pace car, the roof pace car, is just now peeling off. Gerber's got control. The green flag is out here in round 3, and already we're getting a 3-wide moment on the very first lap into Big Bend. Thankfully, they back out of it. Let's see if the rest of the field can work their way through Big Bend. I'm not seeing any accidents yet, but boy, is it a traffic jam. Let's go to the Audis.
And it's already Boafia and Olenek side by side. They've already traded a little bit of paint, all to Riley Thompson's advantage, but maybe not. He's coming up on traffic already. Nissan right in front of him. He's got to check up. That brings Olenek right to him, right to his bumper. Oh, they almost make contact. Riley, Olenek off into the wall. Everybody's stacking up behind him. It's nuts.
Oh, my goodness. This is one of the ugliest wrecks we've ever seen. We unfortunately can't get to it, but it was literally a blocked track. The track was completely covered with wrecked Audis.
Yeah, and not many survived that at all, Joe. Not many at all.
And we still have Audis wrecked, and the Nissans are coming back to them. Oh my goodness. They're starting to get going, but this is just going to speed up the process of them coming upon lap traffic. Fabian Gerber thankfully had a pretty clear track. Ardo Yamaki giving close chase behind him.
Okay, Joe, here's who made it through. Phil Lake, Caradon Boafia, Ben Laughter, Taylor Burris. That's your top 4 that have just gotten away from that.
Well, Taylor's having a good start to this race, considering how far back he qualified.
And Shaka is only 2.5 seconds back, but he picked up some rear end damage on his car, so everybody behind them are nicked up. Those 4 are free to go.
Unreal start to this race. So it's been a little bit cleaner in the GTPs than it is in the GTOs, but we still got quite a few cars still running. A number of the DNFs, obviously, are the GTOs. Whoa, and Yamaki has a huge moment. We just saw on screen. We're going to try to get the replay on that one. Yamaki obviously toes.
This was with Brian Shanahan.
Traffic. Yeah.
It was him and Shanahan, and he gets, they're going to get together. And Shanahan's car actually started to slide, and then it came back across the track.
And I think that was something to do with Gerber. Gerber might have made slight contact with him because he was just trying to slice through West Bend at the last moment. So we've come back to Toyka, who now finds himself sitting in the 3rd position trying to chase down Lepisto. Gerber has quite a gap because of that. And look at him getting checked up. This is the car of Bronislav Robanek that they're all trying to get through. And Toyka actually has a good run down the front stretch. This is Lepisto. He's looking on the outside. They've got a slow car. That's Richard Keogh trying to get his way around. I think he might be damaged on Big Bend there, just coming out of the pits. We stay on this battle. We could take you to 1 million of them right now, but really, it'd be pointless. Following Lepisto around, that's the car of Milan Arnozzi that they're going by. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, I mean, I guess it's about what we expected. I don't know that we expected all that carnage.
Oh, and behind them, that's Arnozzi getting tipped, and a bunch of Nissans get involved in it. Mark Pickford gets collected. Justin Albrecht was the yellow one that we saw getting turned around.
Yeah, here it is, Joe.
Arnozzi tried to take to the apex. And to be fair to Albrecht, who's in the Pennzoil car who tips him around, they did say before the race, they said to the Audis to just run your line.
Yeah, Dave Walsh and Houghton both got through that. You're going to watch Houghton here on board with him. That's a hard shot right there.
I don't think there's going to be many cars that come out of this one clean, if I'm honest. All right, your leaders in each of them are Gerber in the GTPs and Lake over in the GTOs. That's about the only sure thing we can give you right now.
Caradon Boafia sitting there in second. Oh, Sean McCarthy, his Nissan is off the track. Not sure exactly what happened, but he slowed down, let a lot of traffic get by. Traffic coming up on him, though, and that was really close as Houghton almost got into the rear end of him.
Yeah, there we see Houghton trying to slip through. Our poor director's trying to keep up with all the action. We're trying not to jump around too much here. There's Houghton now leading Radar Anderson. And Anderson started this race in 11th, we should point out. So he's gained a lot of spots just by avoiding the chaos. He might have another one because it looks like Houghton is a little slow from his damage. Makes it look easy. So move Radar up to 5th. Oh, Antti Lepisto's had a problem. One of our front runners. Was this with lap traffic in his own class? Yes, it was.
Roy Pruitt.
Hoyka got a piece of that. You're going to see on the replay. Couldn't avoid making contact with his fellow Finn. Just a bit of miscommunication.
Antti picked up a lot of damage on that, Joe. I hope that car can hang on for the last 30-plus minutes of this race.
Right now, he's still sitting in 4th. He only lost 2 positions. That bumped Dave Walsh up into 3rd ahead of him. So we jump back to Anderson behind. Anderson still running away from Michael Houghton and now gaining ground on Antti Lepisto. I'm trying to get my bearings as well, just keeping track of what's going on in the timing and scoring while we watch our director's screen. Still following Anderson in that 5th position. Wonder if we could jump over to the GTOs, give them some love, because ever since that opening incident, we really haven't looked at them much.
Yeah, well, listen, right now it's Phil Lake, who's just leading a charmed life at the moment, able to hang on to this lead as the Nissans continue to go around and around and around and catch the Audis very quickly, but he has done a good job. And Caradine Bawafia, you know what? He is hanging in there as well, and yeah, the gap right now just under 2 seconds, but and as I say that, there's contact between Caradine and Fabian Youngblood. And that is the art of survival from the Audi today. That's what you've got to do if you're in one of the those machines. It's Caradine lets somebody else through. Hanging on the 3rd, of course. We've got Ben Laughter. So another familiar face here at the top. Stefan Schlacker still hanging on to 4th. And Taylor Burris, he was in 4th. Stefan passed him, but he is hanging on to the top 5.
Really, the closest fight we got in the GTOs is just behind them. It's Robanek, Shanahan, and Kira Buksov, and this is for 7th. They're in quite a mess of cars right now. It's an absolute traffic jam. That's some of our leaders coming through in the GTPs, including, that's Lepisto taking second, back away. Wait, no, excuse me. Toyka is up ahead. That's one of his teammates that he was going by. Oh no, Radar Anderson.
I saw it, Joe. Car just got loose. Got way loose. That was turn 5, the uphill there, just coming into turn 5.
And that's such a shame because the Scandinavian was doing a beautiful job just staying out of trouble, and it was paying dividends, and it was his own mistake on the power that cost him.
That car is hurt, Joe.
He's still going in 8th. Just behind him, Keefe and McLeod in a bit of a battle for 11th. John just took that away from the number 25. Man, look at this. There is no escape from this traffic. Cars everywhere. On board with Aloma as he's following these two battling. Aloma is for position as well.
You could see the speed difference between the Audi and the Nissan there as he passed going up the hill. It's blinding.
Oh, and they got a big wreck happening right in front of them. That was
boy.
That was Anderson again.
Yeah, making contact with Goldlager gets in at it also.
Yep. Anderson just had to back up because he was almost going to get into the car of Joni Kaijinen, and in his efforts to try and avoid an accident, one erupted.
Well, he got into Yoni. He made contact. Wow.
I'm going to take a brief moment to mention there is no incident limit in this series. Now, your car can still be wrecked and unable to continue, but these guys are less worried about how many incidents they're racking up other than safety rating, and more worried just about getting to the checkered flag.
Now, Joe, I'm telling you, the lead in the Audi's not safe for Phil all of a sudden. Caradine Bawafia maybe taking advantage of a little bit of traffic, but he has now caught him. And, we had a car getting out of the way. It was Brian Shanahan moving over for everybody, letting him get through there. But Bawafia's got him in his sights now.
Yeah, you said that Phil Lake's leading a charmed life. I don't think there's such a thing at the Kamel GT series at this track. They got a car coming back on. That was John Keefe. There you see trying to get back on track.
Oh, and Keefe hits Matt Orr. They banged doors there, Joe.
Oof. Let's see what happened to Empty Box here.
Keefe's car was just loose. He got back to the throttle and car broke on him. You're going to see it right here. He gets back to the throttle and boom. I felt like John Madden there for a second, actually. And they're right into Orr.
Yeah, poor Matt. His box is no longer empty. It's got a lot of car parts in it, I'd say now.
Oh.
So, as we come back live, he is able to keep going. But look at the severe damage on the left side of that car. Keefe is actually still going as well, still behind him, ready for another attempt at this pass. This slips them down to 16th position, which is what John just took away from Matt. Coming up on some more traffic. That is the car of Hideki Koivisto. They're trying to get around, and a problem for Keefe almost allows Koivisto to slam into the back of him. Gets on the binders just in time. Let's get over to the GTO lead, because that's closing in yet again.
Well, and boy, and a lot of...
We just saw John Keefe have an accident on screen there. Now as we switch over to our leaders.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of traffic coming through and getting caught up. It was Delmuth, actually, that they passed in his Audi, but Bawafia now right up on the bumper of the 711 Citgo Audi there of our leader, Philip Lake. More traffic getting out of the way there, moving over, but this has gotten really intense now. Bawafia turning up the wick.
Yeah, we ride on board with Caradine just underneath Phil Lake, up and over the crest. They've got some traffic coming up. This is James King just behind them. He's going to have to sit and wait patiently. But is he going to deny the apex of Phil Lake and slow him down? Both of them can't get down to the apex, but momentum goes to Caradine. Oh, he lifts, though.
Yeah, it sounded like he did.
So maybe not willing to try and go side by side. I kind of don't blame him, because if a GTP car comes up behind them, that's bad news.
You know, there's still so much time left, right? You're this close. You could ride here for a moment. Although I don't like being the first car to have to deal with the traffic. I'd rather be in front of Phil Lake than behind him. But still, you know, hey, don't get too risky here.
He's just biding his time with 26 minutes left on the clock. You're not missing anything over in the GTPs as we stick with this. Gerber's still leading it. He's got about 5 seconds. This is our closest battle for the top drivers in either class.
I mean, you know, Bawafia's got to be feeling pretty good about himself right now, right? I've been out of the series for a while, haven't made an appearance. I'm riding in high cotton at the moment and, you know, sitting in second place. And I had amazing luck and survived that opening lap incident. So, the top two have made a showing here and have pulled away from their competitors. And he missed a gear. Caradine misses a gear.
Yeah, he might be riding high in the cotton right now, but it'll be so easy to send it into the weeds if he's not careful. Meanwhile, let's go over to Houghton as he is trying to battle for fourth with Dave Walsh. Walsh has been a bit of a sneaky one here as he quietly put it up into the top 3 rows, and then really we haven't seen a whole lot of him. Now, if I'm seeing right on my screen, I think he has a little damage on the front, though. Watching from onboard Houghton. Am I seeing correctly, Sean? Is that a little bit of damage on Dave?
Yeah, Walsh has got some damage on that car, definitely. Yeah, you see it there on the left side as he just went through. You see it again, just over that left rear wheel.
Just look at them slice through. For those who haven't driven these cars, the GTP cars, the Nissans, have incredible downforce due to the tunnel effect underneath the car. So they can go through these corners and slide back and forth a lot more than the Audis can as he gets held up by the car of Joni Hagner. And now that's Ublev that he has to try and get his way through. It'd be interesting to see who gets the fastest lap in the Nissans out of this thing. Meanwhile, second place, Teemu Toika, Antti Lepisto. Gonna try and swap positions again. At least if Antti has anything to say about it. Teemu's trying to lead the way. He's got 10 seconds up to the lead car of Gerber, so he's really not pushing for the win, just pushing to hold on to this second place spot.
And they're coming up on Richard Keogh real quick too. And he is a little bit off pace right now.
There's a lot of Audis off pace due to the damage.
Man,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the fat Teemu legion of fans, I think they're asleep still, Joe.
We'll have something to cheer for if they show up and he can hold on to this. They're coming up to our leaders. Or excuse me, no, that's not the leaders. That's Shanahan. Similar painted car to Buafia. Toika gets through, but Lepisto gets held up something fierce through Big Bend. That's going to put a little bit of breathing space between second and third and the GTPs. Toika trying to use the opportunity to streak away. Back in the 8th position of the prototypes, we got Mike Kopak. We mentioned Suarez and Keefe. Well, Keefe's no longer on track, so Suarez no longer has to worry about him. Now he's focusing forward, trying to take this P8 away. It's Kopak you see in the yellow and white. Suarez behind him in the gray machine. Just behind them, that is for position, David Raber. We mentioned him a little bit on the grid. That's him running in 10th place in the number 24. I think we got a good run down the front stretch for Suarez as they go 3 wide going past Taylor. But no attempt down into turn 1. He runs out of track. And they've
Joe, Caradine Buafia just got hip checked off the track.
Oh, no. And it was in one of the corners you really don't want it to happen in.
It was him and Krejcik.
We're going to look at the replay. He really, there was no saving this. He had to take a tow. Engine is spoiled.
Yeah.
Looks like we're not going to have it, unfortunately.
Well,
but I can tell you, he got into the grass and just speared into barriers.
Just behind our leader, what was... that was Dave Walsh making contact with Sean McCarthy.
We're going to try the replay. If we could stay with it, Alexi Aloma then had a big wreck with those cars, too. Just after this incident, clips his wheel. Now watch this heading down into the uphill.
Wow, he hit hard.
So Loma had to take a tow. That's probably going to be his day over. We're going to watch from on board. He sees the incident happen up there. He's trying to stay out of it. Passes the one car. Catches up to this GTO, who unfortunately was not aware it was going to be 3 wide. And the Finn pays the price for it.
So, Joe, with 20 minutes left in this race, Phil Lake is still the leader in the GTO class. Stefan Schlacker is now second. Milan Arnozzi with a podium run going at the moment. But the gap back from second to third is amazing.
Yeah, Millarn, we usually don't see him on the podium. Remember, he hasn't been out of the wars on this one. You can see the damage on his car. We've watched him take contact. This will be a great finish for him. I'm sure Slocker will be happy with second as well. We saw him as we go to fourth in the GTO battle. That's Burris and Laughter. Burris, another one who's going to be ecstatic. Cars weaving their way through them is Timu, Toika, and Lepisto. That's our battle for second. Continuing on. Actually, it's going to change positions because here comes Toika to the inside, makes it look easy on his fellow Finn.
We're going to replay this.
Yeah. I think he was just held up a little bit by the traffic. Yeah, just took advantage. A little bit of that damage on Lepisto probably helped as well. So we come back live. If we could go to third for the GTOs, fourth for the GTOs, I should say, Laughter and Burris.
I'm on it. That's what I'm watching right now, in fact. And I'll tell you what, if Taylor does much better in this race, Joe, we may not be able to fit him in the booth. That head might be a little bit big, but he is getting a great run here down the straight.
But on Ben Laughter, no, he lifts. He thinks better of it. He wants a sure thing on that pass into Big Bend. Both of them very slow. You can see how much these cars have to check up into this corner.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes. James King's blocked. Can't go anywhere. Oh, and King spins behind, almost loses it.
We can see that's King and the bush fink machine that we're talking about just behind. Now he's going to be able to slip by. Separates them momentarily. And unfortunately, doesn't give a good opportunity for Burris to catch up to Laughter. So, they continue on, and Burris has not lost too much time. Taylor, of course, going to be calling the bootleg racing series a little bit later tonight, as unfortunately now he's going to lose time to Krejcik, who's trying to keep Matt Orr at bay. Matt is not a bore, I shouldn't say that. This is not a good spot for Laughter. Laughter losing a lot of time to those two. Still 17 minutes left to go in this 40-minute race. We've only just barely gone past the halfway point. Oh, and we've switched back up to Toika and Lepisto. Still going at it, still dealing with traffic. This is Kirill Kolobuksov that they're trying to go by. Oh, and he's boxed in, but still manages to make something with it. Toika, I thought, was going to lose that spot, but Lepisto at the last second couldn't find a way by Kirill. God, every time we see these onboards of these Nissans, Sean, my hair stands up.
Yeah, and every time they pass an Audi, I think an angel goes to heaven or something like that.
There's a lot of angels in heaven then.
Yeah, it's
traffic playing nice for them at the moment as Iskrin Pondev lets them through. Ublev as well, going to stay out of their way. A brief moment of respite for our GTP drivers as they find a strung out group of GTOs. And just as I say that, Timo Toika catches the car of Koivisto at the absolutely wrong moment in West Bend.
Well, it's certainly going to make catching Gerber a lot harder, but
this is our leader in the GTOs.
Yeah.
Phil Lake lets him by. You can see how much this is allowing Antti Lepisto to be up on top of them. One more car, that's Kiviporo.
Boy, Yeah.
takes is one bit of traffic, and Lepisto is going to pounce.
Yeah, and I don't think that damage is affecting him that much. I think he can make the move. He's just got to. It's all about the timing here, right, Joe? I mean, there's so few places to really make a clean pass. It's every bit about the timing.
Yuni Kaijinen trying to let them through, keeps his car pinched to the inside. Nicely done by the Finn. And now they are going to be coming up on that battle for fourth between Burris and Laughter. Burris tries to stay out of the way for them. It's also being lapped by Matthias Goldauger, who
Oh, and Burris is
unfortunately
off back there.
keeps it just barely out of the barriers.
Wow.
I have a feeling that Taylor was saying some choice words in the cockpit through that moment. Watch the Floridian try to save this thing. Just off the racing line, Sean, and
what a great save.
wow. Somebody off track there in the GTOs. Not sure who that was. That's Carlos Fonseca. We haven't even mentioned his name. There's so many cars to go through today. Still watching Toika leading ahead of Lepisto. The battle for second. And the GTPs. They're going to split a couple of the GTOs into Big Bend. That was Haynes and Arnozzi. Arnozzi still running in third. Lepisto had a big slide that he had to save through that corner.
You know, Joe, most days these cars look like they match up well on the track together. It looks normal. Not here. It just doesn't look normal here.
Yeah, that was Bronislav Robanek that he had to sneak through on the inside of the uphill. And that cost him quite a bit of time. Toika now has a gap of about a second and a half, but we've seen that can go away in a heartbeat. That's our leader, Fabian Gerber, 6 seconds ahead. Trying to look. I don't see a scratch on that Blaupunkt car.
Well,
that's why he's leading.
I was about to say, I mean, are you shocked? I'm not.
Just taking his time, picking through the field, trying to make clean passes. And it's not just the Audis that these guys are having to worry about. Look at the traffic that we've got now.
Yeah.
Of slow GTP cars.
Or a lot of cars that actually went out, got repaired, came back in, but they didn't get fully repaired, and they're a little bit off pace, and yeah, they're getting caught pretty quickly, but our leaders managing to just kind of work through it. Lepisto's still riding Toika, though.
Don't forget, they've only got about 2.5 seconds back to Houghton. If they get checked up, it could be a three-way fight for second place. Coming up on the lapped car, Pablo Suarez. Suarez still running good pace, so they're taking a little bit of time to try and get up to the back of him. Onto the front stretch, Lepisto with this bit of a run. See, I still think Lepisto's damage is hurting him. It looks like in a straight line, he has nothing.
Well, that could be his wing setting as well. It could be downforce that's hurting him, but I don't know. We'll see. Remember in the intro I talked about...
Big accident in front of them. They're trying to take avoiding action, and Lepisto gets held up. Somehow keeps out of Suarez. And was that Keith? Oh, no. Oh, that was Keith. Let's watch the replay. That's going to have some interesting discussions after the race, because I know those two are already not friends.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, John, it looked like John's car kind of drifted back across the track there. It's badly damaged, and might have started with him getting a little bit of the curb up there when it drifted over.
watch this onboard from Lepisto. He almost came to a dead halt to keep from getting into this wreck. Great driving from the Finn.
Wow.
And he continues on like nothing happened. Just picks up the pace.
Yeah. Back to business, baby. Back to business.
So that gives Toyka another 2-second gap, and incredibly in all of that, Houghton didn't catch them. He's still 4 seconds back because he's been dealing with traffic of his own. Well, we're down to 10 minutes to go. You surviving, Sean?
I'm doing good, buddy. You know who's doing good? Phil in and around the lake is opening up to 20-second lead now over Stefan Schlachart, who is hanging on really well in second place. Milano Nossi a little bit further back, but that's your top three still. Ben Lafter trying to make a charge back there, but again, there's so much traffic on this course right now, Joe, that it really makes it hard to make up any significant time unless you vulture some of that time by your opponents making mistakes.
Yeah, there's nobody closer than a second within the GTOs. They've all split apart significantly. It's all the battles are effectively within the GTP class at this point.
Oh, Phil Lake off the track, just a bit off into the dirt. They're out of 2.
Gets it back together.
Yeah, he does. That's a good job.
And look at the replay. Now, did he have some traffic maybe force him a little wide here? Let's watch him on board.
I think he was being cautious, maybe a little bit too cautious. That dirt's kind of like a magnet. Once it grabs you, it keeps you out there until you can get back under control of it. Great save. And that's the closest moment he's really had yet, to be honest with you. There's no damage on that Sitco machine. It's been smooth. But that does close the gap a little bit. Schlacher now just 16 and a half seconds back.
Now, I know some drivers said they had muted their radio before the race had even started, and well, I guess John Keefe didn't mute his because he's getting a little vocal, unfortunately. We're watching Toyka still ahead of Lepisto, and ever since that gap had opened up with that avoiding incident that Lepisto had to do, he's been holding it at about 2.5 seconds.
Wow.
It's unreal. Just unreal.
A cornucopia of cars.
I think we need to screenshot that and make that the thumbnail for this series.
This year, yeah, maybe. I'll save my replay. Joe,
7. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, now you realize they've ripped off like almost 50 laps already here. And we've still got 7 minutes left. Highly likely that we'll get at least 10 more in.
I'm watching this. I love that we're staying on Lepisto trying to deal with all this, because he is getting the absolute worst of the traffic.
All right, I got to give you an update real quick on the GTOs, okay? So our leader, Phil Lake, has now caught Taylor Burris, who's having a great run and is in 5th. Yeah, that's happened. So Phil Lake is about to lap the top 5. That's the kind of run he's had. And still 17 and a half seconds back to Schlacher. And Taylor's going to get out of the way, let Phil go, and still hold on to 5th place comfortably. 35 seconds to the good over Thomas Delmuth.
That was
Iskren
Pondiv, yeah. Just chilling at the side of the track. Oh, but he tries to come back on ahead of some traffic. We didn't see it there on screen.
Sean McCarthy and Matt Orr, who he came back on in front of there.
I kind of don't blame him, though. Normally, we would criticize a driver for coming back with traffic coming up, but there's probably no bit of open track out there, even with all the accidents we've had today. I mean, just look at on screen right here. You can see how much. There's no place. There's no way you can get back on track waiting for an open spot.
No, it's like being at that side street that really needs a a stoplight.
Stoplight.
Yeah, you know, you're just sitting there. It's like, all right, how long
You
am I
gotta be
gonna wait this
aggressive,
out?
yeah.
You finally decide, all right, it's time to light the tires up. I'm going.
Yeah. So we ride on board with Dave Walsh. We're watching Michael Houghton give chase. Walsh might actually get some action out there, fighting for position instead of just dealing with traffic, which he has got a lot of right now. He's got McLeod just ahead of him. Always harder to pass your own class than it is trying to overtake lap cars in the other class. They're going to get checked up here. Big checkup with Isman Pondev trying to let this train of Nissans through. Houghton gets caught up a little bit. So not right up on the back of Walsh for now, but Walsh still can't find a way around McLeod. Is McLeod fighting for position here? No, he's not. That's Justin Critelli just ahead of him. And Dougie's going to have to send a bill to Clayton for the 007 cam. Needs a little bit of repairs.
These are expensive. It's not a cheap camera.
You see the lights starting to flash, though. I think Walsh is getting a little bit impatient here. He wants to be let by. Still nothing, even though I'm pretty sure that McLeod saw the flashing lights. Oh, look at how close Houghton's getting now. Houghton smells blood in the water. He thinks maybe he could have a chance to get through. Oh, there's a big accident ahead of them. Taylor Burris involved in that. I think that was Pondev. Martin Krejcik. That started with the car of Hristo Ublev. He just lost it on his own, trying to give space to Antti Lepisto. And then the car unfortunately bounced back on track. And there was just no place for all those drivers to escape.
Yeah, no, none at all.
So Burris still hasn't lost his 5th position with that. Krejcik is limping the car back to the pits. I'm not sure. I have no idea where Hristo came out and all that. It made a mess of things, that's for sure.
It really did, yeah. Just a couple minutes left, too.
Martin somehow limped it back. Now, oh, wait a minute. When did Toyka catch Gerber? 2 minutes left to go. Fabian Gerber, I don't know if he's playing it safe or what. And something happened to Houghton.
Yep, Houghton gets into the back of Dave Walsh.
Well,
Walsh actually able to continue on.
You're supposed to pass him, not go through him.
Man.
Oh, and that was, we just saw in the replay, it wasn't really Houghton's fault. It was just a checkup with the traffic.
Checkup. Yep.
Okay, back to the lead. I think we might get white flag next time by. It's going to be awful tight. Let's watch these leaders battle it out. We didn't think that Toyka would have any chance to try and run down Fabian Gerber, but the Diach driver is now heavily under pressure as he has to start taking risks through traffic. So does Toyka.
Oh, no!
Almost goes off track.
Trevor Snyder just spun in front of our leader, Phil, in and around the lake. We'll go
Get to
back
that
to
in
it.
a bit. 2 laps to go. Oof, look at how close the traffic has to run. That was Schlocker. Again, our 2nd place driver and the GTOs. Even though he's well clear, he does not want to give up time. Toyka hounding him. We've watched him get a couple wins now in this series. We've watched him get podiums. Getting a win here at Lime Rock Park has got to feel immensely good if he can pull it off. Gerber, however, usually fighting for the championship. He needs good results. White flag now waves across the front stretch. They're coming up on the car of Taylor Burris. He's going to hold to the outside, let them through. No holdup for Fabian Gerber. Up next is Trevor Schneider and Michael Haynes just ahead of him. Do they see that it's a battle for the lead? Are they watching their F3 box? You can see one of the GTOs took to off track, the other does not. Fabian Gerber now very much under threat. Timu Toika trying to go around the outside of Big Bend. Can he find the grip on that corner? Yes, he does. He takes the lead away on the final lap. Timu Toika only has 2 more corners to try and hold this lead. He hasn't had it the entire race long, but he gets held up. Here comes Fabian Gerber. It's going to be a battle to the line. Does he have the momentum? Fabian Gerber gets by him just by a nose and takes the win.
Wow. And Phil Lake is going to come across right behind him. That was who they had to get around. And he wins in the GTO class.
Let's watch that one more time. Wow. Toika led for all of 2 corners in this race. Look at this. Great job. I have to give credit to Toika, honestly, because this pass, the outside of Big Bend, how often do you see that? And makes it work.
Wow.
The only reason he lost that race, I'd say, is just traffic, wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and you know, it's Phil. He's got a commanding lead, and what can he do there? Oh, amazing.
Look at that. Half a car length at the line. Whew. I think Michael Haynes says it all in the chat. He says, that was nerve-wracking. Cars have already finished. I need a breather. I think you need a breather, Sean.
I just hope the Fat Timu fans aren't rioting right now. Calm down, everyone. It's all right. It was a great race.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. We're going to come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. Stick around because this is going to be interesting. Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. We watched a very interesting, very chaotic race here on the iRacing Esports Network. In the end, the last lap gave us a stunning finish. Fabian Gerber won it by 4/100ths of a second, half a car length over Teemu Toika. Toika actually did get in the lead for 2 corners, but lap traffic denied him the opportunity. That lap traffic, ironically, was our leader in the GTOs. We'll get to that in a minute. Anton Lepisto did manage to get home in 3rd with Dave Walsh in 4th, and Michael Houghton rounds out your top 5 in the GTPs. Mike Kopak finishes in 6th with Fabian Jungbluth in 7th. David Raber, we got a few glances of him. Still a good finish for him. He takes 8th. And by the way, only 5 cars finished on the lead lap overall. Clayton McLeod finishes in 9th with James King finishing in 10th. Matt Orr, Empty Box, did manage to get home in 11th. Justin Critelli finishes in 12th. Radar Anderson, not the best of days for him. He'll take 13th. And Martin Krejcik, unfortunately, DNF'd at the very end. He finishes in 14th. Sean?
All right, Joe. Phil in and around the lake. Well, first place for him. Stefan Schlachter will finish 2nd today. Great run by him. Alarn Nozi gets on the podium, Joe. What a race. Ben Laughter manages to finish 4th, but just outside the podium today for him. Taylor Burris with a 5th place run. Congratulations to him. Bronislav Rovanek will finish 6th. 7th going to go to Kirill Kolobuzov. Thomas Delmuth, 8th. 9th for Brian Shanahan. Ove Trengerade, 10th today. Richard Kehoe picks up a lot of spots and finishes 11th. Yoni Kajanen, tough day for Yoni. Back in the middle of the pack, 12th for him. 13th for Trevor Snyder. Carlos Fonseca, that's going to be a 14th place run for him. Iskren Pondev, we covered his race some. Unfortunately, not a lot of luck today. 15th. Risto Yublev will finish 16th. 17th for Michael Haynes. The Canadian Reed Miller going to finish 18th today, Joe. 19th going to go to Hideki Koivico. Nick Mukanos is going to get the 20th place finish. Jari Latari, 21st for him. Karadine Bawafia. Boy, what could have been for him. And, of course, a lot of those guys had trouble. But he finishes 41st overall, 22nd. 23rd, Yoni Hagner. Riley Thompson in 24th. Rob Olenek, 25th. Mika Kivipuro, 26th. 27th goes to Jamie Hall. You see your GTP drivers there, Roy Pruitt, Luis Emerton, Mark Pickford, Justin Albrecht, and Ardo Iamaki. All unfortunate victims there. Jamie Hall, of course, bad race for him. Johnny Bell and Paul Nelson, those two did not get started. But Joe, it was just absolutely crazy. We got a ton of people that want to talk to us.
I can understand why. Let's start off with Fabian Gerber, our overall winner, to talk to him. First, before we talk to him about that finish, let's talk about how that got set up. Fabian, you were leading by a good, you were leading by a good 10 seconds for most of this race, and suddenly we turned around, and that 10-second lead went away. What caused that?
It was actually a famous man on the grid. He never let me through, and there was another one he was battling with, not even for position, and I lost a lot of time, and then a couple of Audis came that lost me even more, and so all of a sudden Timo was behind me, right behind me. I didn't even realize it at first.
So you had him coming up to you, you approach Big Bend, the uphill right-hander, and he makes the pass around the outside. What is going through your mind when he made that car stick on you?
Can't describe that moment, actually. I lost it in the final lap. Incredible. But then he was held up as well, and I could try. And it's, by what was it? 45 thousandths of a second. Really close. Incredible race. Most incredible ever, actually, I guess.
Well, before we let you go, everybody kind of knew what they were getting into coming into this race. Were you happy that it didn't split, or would you have preferred it split here at Lime Rock? Because 55 cars around here was, 53, I should say, that was a bit of madness.
Yes, it was. It's difficult to say. Usually it's okay, but on this track it's really too much. But in a way, it was okay. It's most of the guys were easy to pass. Some less, some more. I had actually more trouble passing the Nissans because of the dirty air. I had difficulties to get close, and then they probably didn't realize that I was there, or I want to pass or whatever. It was actually more difficult.
Yeah, I can understand that. We mentioned in the broadcast, though, it's tougher to try and pass lap traffic in your own class. Well, congratulations on a phenomenal finish, an incredible battle at the end. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you much. Oh yeah, Monza for sure. I love Monza. Yes.
Excellent. That's
Bye,
Fabian
guys.
Gerber. See you later. Our winner here today. And our other winner in the GTO class, we've got Phil Lake waiting to talk to us. Sean has him on the mic here.
Phil, congratulations. I saw you mention it. You said you were lucky. I think you were partly lucky too, but you still had to drive that thing and survive this. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely so lucky to get through that big one early on. I'm not sure what lap it was, but
Well, it wasn't even a full lap. It was the opening of the race.
oh, it was okay.
Yeah.
After that, once I had Carradine behind me for a long time, and I know how fast he is, and I was just trying to hit my marks and not run wide and just make no mistakes. And I knew from practice that it's very hard to pass unless the guy in front makes a mistake. And then something happened to him, so then it was just avoiding traffic for the rest of it.
Right. And what does it look like in the mirror when you see him, when you see the Nissans coming up? I mean, do you even see it, or is it just a flash?
One of the greatest challenges, I would say, is that you don't really need to use the mirror so much as you use the relative, because if a Nissan is 2.5 seconds behind you, then they'll be there at the next corner, or maybe the one after. So you don't so much use the mirror as you do the relative box to figure out where the Nissans are going to be, because they come up on us so fast, especially here.
Well, you know what? And that is a good tip for anyone watching who's just getting started. Obviously, that's you got a darn near pro driver here telling you how to do it. Phil, listen, it's a lot of fun when we get to Lime Rock Park, but it comes at a bit of a cost. It's very, very tight racing here today. It's going to be a great points day for you. I don't have to exaggerate that. You know, a lot of the people have been saying that there have been some great races here this week. I know the opening of this race wasn't too hot. A lot of people got in trouble, but was it okay working with the Nissans? I mean, obviously, I think you survived without a scratch. You didn't have much of an issue, but did you see anything on track that concerned you?
I think it was okay. I think the number one thing was Lime Rock seems to draw in a lot of new drivers, and they often just do this one race and then they don't come back, so they don't really learn the dynamic between the two cars. And there's a lot of people trying moves that don't generally work very well. Trying the outside a lot of the times does not work. But other than that, I think generally everyone was okay today. There was a few incidents that I was close to, but for the most part, it looked okay.
All right. Well, listen, hey, congratulations again. Go celebrate this one a little bit. We'll catch you next week in Monza.
Yeah, will do. I'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
All right, Joe. That's our Audi GTO winner, Phil, in and around the lake. And I think you've caught up with someone that people would love to hear from right about now.
Absolutely. A driver who unfortunately finished less than half a tenth behind the leader, Teemu Toika. Teemu, you ran him down. You ran Fabian down at the very last lap, and you went on the attack. You made a brilliant move. Talk to us about that last corner, though.
I don't know really what to say. I caught up to Fabian. I think he had some traffic issues, and I caught up to like 10 seconds in 10 laps or something like that. And then going into the jump, as I like to call it, I decided to go on the outside because he left some room there, and I made it stick somehow. And and then I saw in my relative that there wasn't the leader Audi in sight, and I was hoping that we wouldn't catch up to him or would catch up to him in a straight line. But I don't know. It just I feel sad. I don't know really what to say.
I can understand the disappointment. I'd probably feel the exact same way as you on this one. Still, second place is a pretty good result. And tell you what, though, it wasn't just that end that made your race. We watched you battling with Antti Lepisto all race long, and you did a phenomenal job holding him off.
Yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed the battle with Antti, and we had some scares too. But I think most of the time we were clean and safe, and that's the main reason I finished second. I really can't be really that sad considering the second place after the carnage that went on at the in here at Lime Rock Park. So
yeah, there's a lot to avoid out there. Next race going to be at Monza. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, Monza. I think that's with the without the first chicane. So
exactly.
that'll be interesting, at least.
Should put on some very high speeds for sure. Well, commiserations on missing out on the win, but boy, was that a thriller. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see ya.
Timu Toika, second place finisher. Sean, I believe you've caught up with one more driver that we have time for. I know we're going a little bit long here.
Stefan Schlacher. Stefan, you were very optimistic about this race going into it. And here you are on the podium, second place. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I wasn't optimistic. I was super scared. Like, I was starting with a full race suit, and it got even fuller by the end of lap 1. I just stressed out completely. I was shaking. I don't know.
How did you make it through that in lap 1? Walk us through that if you could remember it at this point.
Basically, coming out of the right-hander, I saw smoke everywhere, and then I immediately jumped on the radio, just yelling at everyone, slow down. And then I net-coded through a GTP, and then suddenly I got pushed into Riley. I think it exploded his engine, and yeah, I thankfully only had minor damage at the front and rear, and honestly, it was pure luck that I went through that.
What was the track like? I mean, the conditions weather-wise weren't that bad. What was it like keeping control of the Audi on the track? Except, don't even think about the traffic for a second. How was the car handling after all that happened?
It was super loose down the straights, but this setup was a bit more on the slip angle side, which you kind of need for this car to be fast. So I just let it do its own stuff out of turns, not fight it too much, and just hold it as straight as possible as going down the straights.
Well, Stefan, congratulations. I know you've got to be happy right now about where you finished. It was a tough race. Was it as tough as you expected, or did things go better than expected?
Worse. It was worse than I expected. In my worst dreams, I didn't expect it to be this bad.
Well, listen, again, congratulations. We hope to see you back at Monza next week. Well, of course, we'll see you more this weekend and hear you more here on the Global Sim Racing channel before this weekend is out. So we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
All right, Joe. I think that just about wraps things up.
Yeah. Oh,
I need
man.
that.
I've got to head out of here and head over to MWT in a second. So let's close it up. A big thank you to the Kamel GT community for coming back and broadcasting with the Global Sim Racing channel. And a huge thank you to iRacing for putting this series on the iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. You can see them listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go out to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media, on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget, if you head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, you won't miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And make sure to subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network while you're at it. Next race, as we mentioned, we're going to Monza. Won't be the actual Grand Prix course that they run in F1. They're taking away that first chicane, so it should be fun. That'll be Saturday, October 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.